Hello, I'm Herm Gailey, here to work on something that has become a required element of some classes and which is a good thing to have on your horse, period, and that's the extended walk. It's another thing that is harder than it looks, harder to achieve, harder to perfect, and it really does more for you and your horse than might meet the eye. So here is my process. I believe it probably differs from what some other folks do. That's okay. Got a couple different points of view, decide what works for you. This is what works for me. So this is a gelding who has been shown in ranch riding. That is a class that has an extended walk in it in several different portions of that event. I realized the last time I showed him, or when I showed him at the Keystone International, the last time I showed a horse before the pandemic, that his extended walk was pretty half-hearted. I think in part it's because his walk is pretty half-hearted. Haven't really worked on it a lot, but it's time that I did, so let's get on with it. So here is his natural walk. And if it was any more casual, he'd probably need to be on life support. This is how he wants to walk. It's a funny thing, this particular horse can be quite reactive, but he tends to have a swing between underreactive and overreactive, and it's hard to find that sweet spot in the middle where he's alert but not stressed. So he'll just stroll around like this, and it's nice, and he'll relax and walk like he's in a coma. But suppose they say, now all please extended walk. Or suppose you're on a trail ride and your companion has a horse that actually does walk. Well, you're going to need to be talking to them with smoke signals. So you want to be able to push your horse up into an extended walk. Now I'm going to show you what happens if I just do what a lot of people do, and that is just sort of get on him with my legs and ask him to walk faster. I'm not getting a whole lot out of him. He's just saying, yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'm going to do something that seems counterintuitive. I'm going to kick him and get him right up into a trot. And I don't pull him back in the ground. I just say, run off a little bit, and remember, the next time I put my leg in you, you're supposed to do something. Now, a logical, legitimate question would be, what in the world are you doing teaching an extended walk by driving your horse up and making him trot off? Isn't that exactly what you don't want to do? You don't want to have your horse break. Well, the fact is that if your horse is dead, you're going to pick and pick and pick until they go forward and sort of stumble into a trot anyway. So let's just get it over with. Get them to where when you put your leg into them, they do what they're supposed to do and move forward. A little dull, bang. But that time, when I gave him the reminder, he said, well, wait a minute, I remember. So that tells me that right now he's more alert, and if I ask him to walk off, it's going to go better. Going to ask him to step up, and I'm going to drive him up to where he's teetering on the edge of a trot. And I'm pushing him with my legs, but I'm getting a response. I'm just driving him right to the point where he might otherwise break. And you can see he's starting to step off better. And then you don't get greedy. You relax back down. Because if all you do is drive, 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 they're going to just kind of dull out and feel like there's no release in it for them. So as you build this, you don't maintain it for a long period of time. But I'll pick up here, put a leg in him, and just keep my hands close enough to his mouth that if he tips up into a trot, I can discourage that. And I'm there. See, he trotted, but that's okay. He's trying to find it. Because when you have this working, you're going to feel like you're teetering on the edge of a trot the whole time. But they're too good. And I push him into a trot by accident, that's going to happen. Feels a little dull, put a leg in him, bump him up, bump him up. And now I'm going to put a leg in and say, let's get walking. Let's get walking. And I'm not yanking him in the ground, but I'm just saying, I'm not really looking for a trot, big guy. I'm just looking for you to step up. Step up. That's better. Let him slow back down. Put a leg into him and encourage that bigger walk. And don't get too upset if they break into a trot. The only time that becomes a problem is that they start to jig. And they will jig when you hold them back and drive them at the same time. So you've got to take the leap of faith and say, yep, extend, and here we go. Here we go. We're going better now, better now. Better now. Now, interesting fact, when you roll your seat, you usually find a pretty nice little stop there. So that's the beginnings. And that could be a lot better, but an awful lot of horses you'll see in the show ring have that coma walk that he has, and you have to sort of get them out of that mindset. It takes a while. You're not going to do it in a session or two, but in a week or two you will. Now, if you want to see that look pitiful, we're going to post a link to videos by Pat Puckett, or a video by Pat Puckett. He's a cowboy out in Eastern California. His horses are going someplace and they walk. So we're going to just post a video up that shows one of his horses walking if we can find it. They cover ground. That's what you're after. This is the beginnings of it. Give it a try. It's another tool for your horse.